Mine. Yours. Excuse me.
And now, spoiler alerts. Spoiler alert for The Accountant 2. So, I figure if we're going to start, we can't talk about Ben Affleck without talking about his most recent movie that's come out, The Accountant 2, the only DC Marvel crossover that I think either of us really care about. So,
Yeah,
for
that's true.
Now, it's a sequel to The Accountant, which is an action movie starring Ben Affleck, a character who's on the autism spectrum and also has been trained by his dad as well. Like his dad trained him and his brother to be good fighters, and he's done some underground work for mobsters, and it's like he's an accountant, but he's also an action hero, basically. And John Bernthal, the Punisher, plays his brother. So first movie was great. I liked that one. It took place in Chicago, so I do miss the Chicago setting in this one. But so for those who don't know, I brought Josh on. He gave his thoughts on it, and I actually just saw it on tax day. I saw the early showing on tax day, so it was really cool to see that again. And I really like this one. What I really like about this one, Josh, is I really love the brothers' chemistry. Ben Affleck and John Bernthal. You don't see that a lot in the first one. You don't find out the brothers till the very end. And the instant I mentioned accountant spoilers too, the viewership dropped. So I guess a lot of people haven't seen it yet still. But anyways.
Hey, that's your fault.
Yeah, I know. I own that one, but
No. I'm talking to them on the other side of the screen.
Oh.
You did your job. You saw the movie, so that's their fault.
Yeah. We supported our Batman and our Punisher. But yeah, I really love the chemistry with the two brothers. It's like, I love that Ben Affleck, again, he's basically, he's book smart, right? His character is book smart, but not social smart. I mean, John Bernthal comes and he says, "Oh, it's good to see you. I'm glad you're here," because I forgot the name. I'm bad with names. I do apologize for that. But what did he say? Braxton. Like, she told him to say, "How are you doing?" Or like, "Thanks for coming." And then John Bernthal's like, "Did she tell you to say that?" So just little things like that. But then also really happy that Ben Affleck got a girl to dance with him, and you really like you really see the love with them. And what I really love about the story, Josh, is that so many stories, like a difficult brother, it'd be so easy for the other brother to be like, I can't, you're too difficult. I don't want to be around you. But what I like about this movie is that John Bernthal, he doesn't feel like that for a second. Yes, he gets angry at him, but even when he's like, "Oh, go ahead without me," he literally gets in the car with him, with Ben Affleck. And it's like,
as he didn't, right?
He didn't exactly. He didn't even once think about abandoning him. Yeah. So that's something I really love about this story. Josh, what are some of your thoughts on this?
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. You nailed it on the head, Bat Dan, because I recently rewatched The Accountant 1 after seeing, the world premiere at South by Southwest of The Accountant 2. And it was shocking to me, like, how little of the brothers together is in the movie, right? Because it makes an impact from as a viewer, right? You're like, "Oh yeah, it's Punisher and Batfleck, like, let's go." But then like rewatching it, I was like, "Oh yeah, we really barely got to see them." Hey, shout out to you who just jumped in the chat.
What up, Sin Havoc?
If you know, you know.
Just talking some world's finest today starting with a review of The Accountant 2.
Good to see you, Sin. But yeah, and that's why this movie, I think, was so necessary, because now watching it back, you realize like we need this chemistry because it's so good. Ben Affleck and John Bernthal have such good chemistry in my opinion, and they both have nailed their roles in my opinion. And I mean, we'll get into it, but I mean, at the end in the third act, in the climax, like you get basically Nightmare Batman and you get full-fledged Punisher. Like, I'm sorry, John Braxton was non-existent in the third act. He becomes Frank Castle, in my opinion. And so seeing Daredevil recently, you know, Born Again, seeing him back doing that, I was just like, oh, he just basically became Punisher all of a sudden. So it was basically, in my personal opinion, like seeing Batfleck and Punisher team up. I honestly have been putting that in my tweets and posts, but that's how I felt. I don't know about you, Bat Dan. Did you kind of get that sense too with John Bernthal?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I feel like Braxton was always the Punisher, and I do want to correct a statement I said earlier. It's Medina who tells Christian Wolf to tell Braxton that it was good to see him again. So I want to correct that statement earlier. And
Agent Medina.
you know, Josh, should we make the rest of this review a musical? I think we should.
I'm down.
So what were your thoughts on that one, that assassin lady, the assassin that J.K. Simmons met? I can't keep doing this.
It's all for you, Socks. Cordovan speedster. Daniela Pineda, I believe, is the actress's name. I got to see her really close to me. Didn't know who she was. She was a big deal, actually. At South by Southwest at the screening that I went to. I know, man. I know. I mean, I'm biased though. I'm on a stream with One Punch Dan Lame over here, so I have to.
Did he just call me lame? I think he just called me lame.
Hey, you shots fired first. Anyway, we'll find out May 30th. But yeah, she was a badass. Like her role in this movie, you know, she makes an impression early on in the film. Actually, I think we can say it, right? We're talking spoilers.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that opening scene with you know who, Commissioner Gordon?
Well, first of all, it's you know whom. Secondly, it's something I would have felt better about that scene if they didn't advertise him dying in the trailer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
this was an issue where the trailer gave too much away. I mean, I know it's the main plot of the movie, but I still feel like they could have just been kind of vague about why Medina needs Christian Wolf, aka Ben Affleck's help, and they could have just like shown J.K. Simmons briefly. And it was a really cool scene, and I love seeing J.K. Simmons as a badass and like him writing down information on his arm real quick. But the suspense to me is killed because the trailer is like, you're gonna die, he's gonna die, and you know that's not necessarily a fault of the movie. That's a fault of the marketing of the movie. Yeah. So I can't.
I agree. But I kind of was like, when I saw it, you know, the world premiere, I was in disbelief. Like the whole movie, I was like, and it wasn't until after I think our feedback that we saw at the world premiere is probably a reason that they spoiled it, because like you can ask the person that I saw it with. I was like, he's not dead, right? There's a third one. He's coming back. Like it just didn't seem real to me. And I do think that it was set up for a third one, and we'll get into that. But I think that other people felt the same way too when we gave feedback. So I think that's why because the marketing didn't spoil it until after the world premiere. So I think that was them being like, no, JK's done in this role. And I was like, no. But the time he does have to shine, he was pretty much a badass. Like I did love seeing him get some action in as, you know, our Commissioner Gordon. So it is, you know, in all storytelling, Bat Dan, it is, you have to have an inciting event, right? And seeing how his character, I think it's Harry. I forget his name. I think it's Harry, right?
It is Raymond King.
King. Okay, I don't know why I'm saying Harry. Raymond King. He's a big part, right, of explaining the mythology of the accountant, right, and the otherworldly, kind of John Wick-esque reputation that the accountant has. So that's why I was so tied to him, and I think all of us were, because he introduced us to this iconic character, the accountant. And so it did make sense after really sleeping on it, after seeing it and being shocked and not believing that he was dead. The accountant, this would cause the accountant to come back after 8 years, right? And really be hands-on with Agent Medina once again, which is not something he does, right? He doesn't work with the feds, and that becomes a point of contention between him and Braxton, his brother. So it made sense to me after really. I just was curious if it was a downer for you, but it sounds like you were kind of prepared for it from the trailers.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think for the story it made sense because I agree. Like he's, as you said, he's been in hiding for 8 years. Sure, that the time length of the actual real life release dates of the movies is that. So you have to have a believable reason for him to come back, and that's one of the only things is that Christian Wolf acted as an informant to Raymond King because, like, I think from my understanding from the first movie, he did like he would somewhat help the mobsters, but he would give a lot of his money away, and he would also kind of use that knowledge to report on other activities. That was my understanding of of Christian Wolf's motivations is that, and he has, he's like Christian Wolf is rich, but he's just fine living in an RV. But it is interesting. And Medina, I love that because you see how Ben Affleck's crew. And I'm gonna switch between saying Ben Affleck and Christian Wolf. Sometimes when an actor, you just call them the actor's name. It's like Dwayne Johnson. Like everyone calls him The Rock in all his characters. But anyways, seeing how Christian Wolf's crew was hacking into that one woman's computer, and Medina's like stop, this isn't right, this is an invasion of her privacy, or how they had basically a hostage in her trunk. I mean, he was a bad guy, sure, but that's still not legal. And she's all about to buy the book, and then she's like, what if the police stop me? And then it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna create a false alarm somewhere else, and we're gonna make all of the lights green. And I'm thinking, why can't I have this coming home? Why can't I have them? Can you just like make all my lights green coming home, please? That would be really nice if you could do that for me. But yeah, and I love, and another moment I kind of wish wasn't in the trailer because the trailer made me prepare for that joke when it's like when Braxton's like, no, this person didn't kill those people. Like she didn't kill them. Call it an educated guess, and then she just walks out and it's like, I didn't confess to the murder. It's like, but what I really found interesting, that's actually made her stop working with them completely. Like from the trailer, I thought it was just going to be they argue for a bit and then she comes back. It's like, no, she actually completely they don't work together for the rest of the movie, which honestly, I kind of like that because one, it kept the focus on the brothers, which was good, but also two, it just made sense for her character. Like, what could you say to get her to work with him again? She was already hesitant about doing it, and now working with a flat out killer. Like, how do you convince her? It just, I like that they actually kind of stuck with it. It's like, no, we're not going to work together anymore.
Yeah. And when you think about it too, right? Rewatching the first one, I was reminded of her journey, right? Because she's kind of in the first one being, mentored by Raymond King to take over. And that's what she does essentially in this one. So the more that I, like I said, even the J.K. Simmons part, it made sense rewatching the first one. It's the natural progression of the story, in my opinion. This is how it had to happen. I just love J.K. Simmons. I think we all do. Omni-Man. And I know Ben Affleck does too. He is a fan of a show that Bat Dan doesn't watch anymore, but I did. And I do think that once you do watch it, if you do, you will see a lot of Zack Snyder stuff in it. And that's why Ben Affleck and his son are a fan of that series that is also...
You can say it, Invincible. Which for those of you who don't know, I do not watch that show because... I do not like that Ezra Miller's recast as D.A. Sinclair. They can say all they want about scheduling conflicts. We both know what the reason was. And my thing is, the only way to stop cancel culture is to stop supporting it. So I've taken especially and look, I don't judge other people for watching. I mean, heck, Ben Affleck even watches it, and we know Ben Affleck's for Ezra Miller, but me, I, I just taken such a strong stance on social media that I feel like I would be a hypocrite if I watched that show, and I always try to stand by my beliefs. If I say something, I stick with it. But
That's tough too.
anyway, thank you. But anyways, with the account, I guess that fight scene, that final fight scene with Ben Affleck, with Christian Wolf and Braxton, and them going through like saving those kids, saving like I'm sorry, that was just so satisfying to me though. Like I love seeing in movies seeing bad people get killed, like scumbags who, especially if you kidnap children, if you traffic children, you hurt children anyway. I do not feel bad what happens to you. I don't know if that gets me canceled saying live on YouTube, but if someone tries to cancel me for that, then I have to question their motives. So, anyways, like I just seeing scumbags like that getting what they deserve, it's so satisfying to see. It's really satisfying to so cool to see that. And then, you think Braxton is going to die at a certain point, and then he doesn't, and
Can I
then
ask you something? How did you feel about the headshot scenes? Because I was so on my first viewing just uncomfortable with how realistic the head, like I would know that there was a headshot scene coming and I would literally like start to do this because they filmed it so freaking Gavin O'Connor. I was just so visceral. Like every headshot scene to me, it was loud, it was gruesome, it was violent, just like you would expect a real headshot to look like, which I've never witnessed in person. But I just would, the tension was so palpable, in my opinion, in the theater. Did you feel that at all watching because there's a sniper
no,
in the movie?
I can be pretty like I don't know, like I don't want to say tolerant of that stuff, or I can be pretty. I don't know. I'm pretty much numb to a lot of that stuff when I see it in movies. Honestly, like when I did watch Invincible, all that violence, it was just kind of like it's just cool television. I don't know, like stuff like that doesn't really bother me too much, especially when it's just movies, even if it's realistic, because. And I appreciate the effort to make it look real, but the fact that you were uncomfortable with it a little bit, I think that was good though, because I think it showed they want to make it look realistic. Because you're watching a movie, you sucks.
Yeah, and then I
Yeah.
rewatched it in Dolby Atmos sound, and it was like I knew the headshots were coming, right? And if you think about it, it's actually why was I uncomfortable with it? Well, the sniper who shoots J.K. Simmons, spoiler, luckily, it's a bad guy, right? So all the scenes with the sniper when it happens are good. Well, not everyone. By the way, did you get the Jared Leto Joker reference that I haven't seen many people talk about except me?
I have not. That flew over my head. No.
Ah, ah, ah. Did you not see the hand tattoo that was Joker's hand tattoo? The exact
That
same
must
tattoo.
have that must have flown over my head completely.
You need to rewatch The Accountant too, Bat Dan. That was there for a reason. Just saying. The one who's locked up
Okay.
in the trunk. It's Jared Leto's Joker hand tattoo.
Okay.
Why is that there, Bat Dan? Coincidence?
Nope. Not at all. And hey, with headshot scenes, I mean, hey, if Deadshot's if because I know we all want Ben Affleck to direct it, but if he can't, and I think Gavin O'Connor would be a good choice because I think he's one of Ben Affleck's go-to directors when he doesn't do it. Is that
Yeah.
so?
Yeah, they have a great relationship.
If you have like let's say another Batman villain in the movie, let's say a certain guy who's been known to slap people, that would be a good scene. But so you were saying what do you think about the setup for the next movie?
So if you really think about it, right, like you were talking about, Christian Wolf is he's a generous guy. He donates to the neuro science academy, right, that basically helps him. And they're a team of highly intelligent, although they're labeled as disabled, right, technically. they are high functioning individuals who are hyper intelligent and capable of amazing things. So I got the sense there is a child, right? The MacGuffin to rescue, and then they get to that point. And I guess we technically can spoil it, but there's a twist, right, with the character, and I just felt like that character's journey is left open, right? That character still has a journey and a story to tell. Braxton and Ben Affleck, or Braxton and Christian, are together now and united. So it sounds like they're going to be working together. Medina, there's a oh my god, that scene with her. I got to give a shout out, Cynthia Robinson, Adina Robinson, I think her name. That scene, right, is so tense when you see Batfleck on the bat cycle, speeding to try to save her, and then what happens to her, and I was just so heartbroken because I loved her from the first one, even though she's kind of like a foil for Christian Wolf and Braxton Wolf. You end up I cared for her, right, and she put up such a fight, but against somebody who is kind of has no feeling and other worldly, in my opinion, strength wise and skill wise. I just got the sense that there was not an end of the road for this franchise. Although if more people don't go see it, it might be. So go support The Accountant 2 in theaters. It's really not performing well, be honest. And I think a lot of people did not see the first one. So get your ass to the theater and see it if you haven't. You know who you are. Yeah, I think it's a great franchise. I felt like the mythology was brought in. I would like to see a part 3. So that's maybe just wishful thinking, but I did really enjoy what was, in my opinion, a setup for more for these characters. And I think that's why Ben wanted to come back, is that if you listen to the interviews, it was all about the characters' progression. And if you really look at what happened story-wise, it makes sense for everything to happen like the way it did. It would make sense for someone like Christian Wolf to tell his brother, I'll find you, and then 8 years later, then find him, right? He did, but Braxton was like, where the fuck are you? I've been waiting. And I love that at the center of John Berthol's performance, right? It's all coming from a place of love, right? He's pissed off at his brother because he loves him and he's so loyal to him. And because that's how he was raised all his life, taking up for his brother and being there for his brother. And, even though he's the younger brother, right? And so, of course, Christian did the same thing, did it from afar. So I just really want to see more of these two. I want to see Batfleck and Punisher once again. And so go support Accountant 2 in theaters as soon as you can.
Exactly. Well said, Josh. And also just saying, it's a movie where Warner Brothers is working with another studio, because there's that Warner Brothers logo too. They're willing to work with other studios. Just saying.
Hey, this is a property that's licensed to Amazon MGM. It still has a Warner Brothers Pictures logo on it. So this was licensed, just saying.
And before to wrap up this review, what would you rate this movie as? What would you, out of 10?
Well, I'll be perfectly honest. After rewatching the first one, I will admit I prefer the first one, right? I'm a huge Anna Kendrick fan. Huge. I actually just saw Another Simple Favor, which I highly recommend. Just came out yesterday on Amazon Prime with Blake Lively. Go check that out if you're a fan of that. And it makes sense, right? Accountant 2 just came out and Another Simple Favor just came out. So she had to choose, and contractually she had to choose this role that she was a bigger part of, which was Another Simple Favor. So they ended up, it's funny that Anna Kendrick and Ben Affleck movies came out, so filming wise, they couldn't do both. So she was so severely missed. So I prefer The Accountant 1. However, due to the camaraderie of the brothers and the performance from John and Ben Affleck, I've heard some people say, yeah, this one's funnier and more audience friendly. So I prefer part 2. I prefer part 1, but I would give it, I had some gripes, and I know some people had some gripes. So I would give it like a solid 8. I would give it an 8 out of 10.
That's fair. I think for me, I I really like the movie. I think, some slow parts here and there, and I'd have to rewatch both movies to decide which I like better. So I think for me, I will give it an 8.592346859234592 out of 10. I love the movie. It's a great movie, and we need to support it in theaters.
Yes.
And actually, real quick, I forgot to say this. When I got home, so I saw basically Punisher and Daredevil team up, and when I got home, I saw Punisher and Daredevil team up in the Daredevil Born Again's season finale. So
Oh,
forgot
yeah.
to point that out.
Yeah.
So
that too. That was worth it. Finally took forever, but yes, we finally got to see it.